Duke, Carolina, the best rivalry in the sport, maybe the best rivalry in all of sports. John Shire, chapter 1, he gets a victory at home for the Blue Devils last night, and Derek Lively was sensational. I mean, this is a guy who was ranked by many as the number 1 recruit in this class. That production, at least offensively, maybe not what some would expect from a typical number 1 recruit in this class, but defensively, he was the story of the game last night. I mean, singularly, he impacted that game more than any other player on the floor. For me, ACC country is your country, RC. So for overreaction purposes, Duke has the highest ceiling of any team in this conference. Obviously, there's Carolina, Virginia, the highest ranked team in the conference. Miami, we saw them make a run in March last year. Heading into postseason play, Duke has the highest ceiling this season. Fact or fiction?
I will go fiction. I would say it's Miami. If I had to hedge my bet on it, I'd go with Miami as a team that's built to make run. I think the presence that Amir gives them inside, there's a difference of physicality with this group. They had a great game. I thought the best game in the ACC was that game against Miami and Clemson. Mm-hmm. And I take away the hype of Duke and North Carolina. That was a big game, and Miami went in there on the road and got one. And that's a tough out, man. I mean, we gave Nigel Pack a lot of crap early in the year, and let's be honest. I mean, the kid's playing better. He's playing much better right now. The team is playing well. I like their team. I just think that if I had to bet on a team that can beat you in many ways, I'd bet Miami. I still think that Duke has some issues shooting the basketball, and I think that'll catch them in the long run. But I love what their freshmen are doing. They just hadn't had a time. I mean, the injury bug, Dariq Whitehead's still out. I mean, it's a great win for those guys to win at home against Carolina. We know, but we don't even know what Dariq Whitehead's going to bring to them. I mean, he came back. He was starting to get himself together. Now he's back out with another injury again. I think he'll be back soon, but it takes time. I mean, we'll need to see what that team looks like in full strength, and that's something we hadn't seen. They've only had their guys together for 12 games this year. That's hard to judge when you hadn't had your full, and particularly a player like Dariq Whitehead who gives them so much versatility.
Especially when so many of those key pieces are freshmen.
Yes.
Right. Like a lot of those guys, you want to be able to work into minutes. And Dariq Whitehead's like his season just hasn't been able to get going and take off. The preseason injury, then he got sick, then he got injured again. And he just hasn't really been able to find his groove. I think I'm with you that Miami's the team with the highest ceiling here. As Jim Boeheim might put it, the best team that money can buy is what Jim Larrañaga has there. With the $800,000 man and Nigel Pack. Look, the guard play to me, like that's what matters so much. And to turn it back to Duke, because I want the segment to be about Duke, is Jeremy Roach to me made so many big plays down the stretch of that game. And something that really stood out, RC, was that when they needed a bucket, right? They're up by 3, it was up by 3 at the end of the game. Shire basically draws up a play to try to get Jeremy Roach going to his right hand and get into the rim. He didn't draw it up for anybody else. He didn't draw it up for Filipowski, who might be ACC Player of the Year. He didn't draw anything else up. He got Jeremy Roach where he needed to go and had him go make a play. And I think that says a lot about the kid look, he's been banged up too. He's been dealing with a turf toe. So I think the combination of Jeremy Roach kind of coming into his own a little bit and Derek Lively being enough of a presence to completely throw Armando Bacot off of his game, I really like this Duke team. I really do. Compared to where they are right now in most rankings and most people's perception, I think that they're better than people realize. I think they're like a top 25-ish kind of a team as opposed to like outside the top 25, top 35. I think that they're good. I think they're dangerous.
No question. I agree with you. I mean, I just want to see what this team looks like with the healthy Dariq Whitehead in it in a couple of games, because he was, ACC play. He was he is their second leading scorer in ACC play, and they've been dinged up. Everybody's missed so much time. Let's get these guys healthy and get them about 4 or 5 games, and let's see what they look like maybe the third week of the month.
The most impressive thing to me from Duke's result yesterday was there was only one guy that saw the floor for Duke that had played in this rivalry before. I really thought that was going to matter in this game, right? I mean, you're talking about a North Carolina team that obviously had a sense of the moment last year that sort of felt coming away like we own that program. We sent Coach K packing. Here's Caleb Love, RJ Davis, Armando Bacot, Leaky Black. They're all back. I thought that was going to matter for a bunch of 19-year-old kids suiting up in that rivalry for the first time.
Are we doing this again, man? Am I the guy? I have to defend Duke? Like, is that what we're doing again? Like, really?
That's the entire point of this. That's the entire point of this segment. Every time that we're gonna have one,
the rivalry was over. Are you serious? Did you just say that?
I'm not saying it was over. I'm saying they owned them last year. Like, you didn't think that was going to matter coming in this game, RC? It's 4 dudes that just sent the legend, the best coach the game has ever seen, packing in 2 of the biggest moments the sport has ever seen. And the entire team was back, minus Brady Manick. You didn't think that was going to matter in this game versus literally 8 guys in a 9-man rotation that had never stepped foot in that rivalry?
Not with the way the Carolina's playing right now, no. No.
Okay. So
internal turmoil,
and it didn't. Them puppies got teeth grew, and they had a big bite and they took it.
To that point, though, if we're talking ceiling, back to the overreaction, right? The highest ceiling in the ACC. Right. Wouldn't you still think that maybe it's Carolina? Because if I look at yesterday,
no.
Carolina played like a D- of a game. Everybody was inefficient for them. Pete Nance was 1 for 10 from the floor. The guards were 10 for 31 from the floor. Like, I thought everybody played bad. I thought everybody on Duke played pretty good. And that's a 6-point swing?
Who has played well consistently for that group besides Armando Bacot?
Nobody.
I think R.J. Davis has had his stretches. Yeah. Outside of that, who?
And that's over a 2-year period. We have a 2-year sample size. North Carolina's played well for 1 month.
I tell you what.
It was a good month.
They got to play Wake.
It was a great month.
They got Wake coming in next, and that's going to be a major game. A major game for like that's a lot of title. I mean, tournament hopes are on the line for that game coming up. That's a big game for both teams right there.
Yeah, another big game in that conference. Duke is at Miami tomorrow. Yes. I'm going to have my eyes all over that one. There are major implications in the ACC there. All right.